Okay, let's talk about how to do problems in 4.4.2. We're talking about transformations of exponentials. So let's just say we have y equals 2 to the x. So let's graph that. Some of you may not know how to graph that. So we make a table. We say, okay, what if x is 0? 2 to the 0 is 1. To the 0 we get 1. 2 to the 1 would be 2. At 1 we get 2. At 2 we get 2 squared, which is 4. And 2 to the third is 8. How about over here? 2 to the negative 1. Negative 1 means flip this over so it's 1/2 to the positive 1, which is 1/2. And if I go to the negative 2, 2 to the negative 2 flips that over, makes it 1/2 to the 2, which is 1/4. And so on. And it keeps getting smaller, goes to 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, keeps getting closer and closer to 0. It approaches the x-axis asymptotically. This side keeps going, for all these values, it just keeps going up. So it's asymptotic on the left side, but not on the right side. So now, what 4.2 is about is transformations of this. So I'm going to start with y equals negative 3x, negative 3, I'm going to use the same base, 2 to the, let's call it negative x plus 1. No, let's make it 2x plus 1. Okay. And I'm going to, so my parent function is y equals 2 to the x, which I have. Remembering that it's at 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 8, and 1/2 and 1/4 and 1/8. I'm going to put plus 4 out here. Okay, so we have outside stuff, and we have stuff working on the x, which I call the inside stuff that we did before. I'm going to choose to do the inside stuff first. And just like we did before, everything works backwards on the inside and opposite, what you would think, and opposite to order of operations. So if I had an x, I'd multiply first and add 1, but I'm going to do it opposite, so I'm going to subtract 1. I'm going to do the opposite of adding 1, which is going to move it to the left 1. So instead of being 0, 1, it's going to be minus 1, 1. Instead of it being 1, 2, it's going to be 0, 2. And instead of 2, 4, it's going to be 1, 4. And 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8. And 8 at 2. So this is my plus 1 moves it left 1. Now, since we're doing the inside, let's continue. The 2 times, again, that's working horizontally. We think it would stretch it twice as wide, but it's outside, so inside, so it does opposite. So everything gets half as far. So this is a compression a horizontal compression by a factor of 2, half as far from the y-axis. So this was on the y-axis, it stays on the y-axis. At -1, it was 1, so half as far away would be at a half. At 2, it was a half, so now at -1, it's a half. At -4, it was half, quarter, eighth, so it's going to be an eighth here, a quarter there, half, and then this one's still on there. At 1, it was 4, so now at a half, it'll be 4. Half as far from it's moving halfway in towards the y-axis. So this is a horizontal compression. And so we've taken care of everything in the exponent. Now let's take care of everything in the y. Now here we do according to our order of operations. So we've got to do the multiplication before addition. And there's two things here, a minus and a minus on the outside. Everything on the outside works vertically. So we're going to do a reflection vertically. So we're going to go over the x-axis. So 0, 2 becomes 0, -2. -1, a half becomes -1, -a half. Negative quarter, negative an eighth, negative a 16th. And here, and at half it's 4, so half it's -4. So it's going to look like this. All these things I'm doing should look very familiar from what we did in transformations before. So I still got some more to do. I've done the negative. I need to do the 3. So 3 is going to, looks like it would stretch it, and that's what it does. From the x-axis, it goes 3 times as far. So at, let's get it over here where you can see it. At 0, it was down 2, so now it's down 3 times as far. 2, 4, 6. At -1, it was at a half. It was at a negative a half, it was -1, so it's negative half, it's -3, 3 times as far. At -1, it was negative a half, so it's -3 halves. At -1 1/2, it was negative a quarter, so it's -3 quarters at -1 1/2 of 3, 1 1/2. And at 4, it was 1/6, let's see, 1/2 quarter eighth, so it's going to be 3/8, which is a little less than 1. Excuse me. So it did a vertical stretch by 3. And then finally, so I've taken care of the left one, compressed by 2, flip it over the y-axis for the -3, vertically stretch, and up 4. So now I got to go up 4. So I just got to, so I did left one, compressed by 2, so it's half as wide, half as far from the y-axis, I should say. Then a negative, flipped it over. The 3 stretched it, and now I got to go +4. So all these points, and I didn't put my units, are up 4. So I'm going to draw my line there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's 2, And it was 0, negative 6. And if I bring that up 4, it's 0, negative 2. It was negative a half, 3. So it's going to be negative a half, 1. At negative 1, it was negative 1.5. So negative 1.5 up 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, at negative 1. At negative 1.5, it was negative 3/4. Negative 1.5, it was negative 3/4. So up to 1/4, to 1 1/4, 2, 3, 4. Not these. And there, and it's going to get closer and closer to, this one got closer and closer to 0, and if I move it up 4, it's going to get closer and closer to 4. It's going to be asymptotic to 4.